Here in Washington, top Democratic leaders are pushing for an urgent meeting with their Republican counterparts as a critical government funding deadline approaches. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries sent a letter yesterday requesting a sit-down with House Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune. The goal is to begin bipartisan negotiations to fund the government beyond September 30th and avoid a shutdown. In their letter, Schumer and Jeffries emphasized a shared responsibility to govern for all Americans and work across the aisle. However, they also voiced concern, writing that it is clear the Trump administration and many within the Republican Party are preparing to legislate on a solely Republican basis. The Democratic leaders stated that Congress should be focused on lowering prices for American families, implying that partisan battles risk distracting from that core mission and could lead to a painful and unnecessary shutdown at the end of next month. Meanwhile, the executive branch is making headlines for a series of decisive and controversial actions. President Trump has fired the commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Erica McIntarfer, following a disappointing July jobs report. The report indicated that the economy added only 73,000 jobs, a figure far below expectations. It also included a significant downward revision of 258,000 jobs for the previous 2 months. The president claimed without providing evidence that the report was rigged to make him and Republicans look bad. The move has drawn an avalanche of criticism. Economists and market analysts have pointed out that the commissioner, a Biden appointee, does not personally create the data. The figures are produced by hundreds of nonpartisan analysts at the Labor Department following established rules. Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank investor, told CNN, "You don't shoot the messenger." Even President Trump's own first-term BLS chief, Bill Beach, noted that the commissioner doesn't even see the numbers until the day before they are published, and that large revisions are common as more complete data becomes available. This action is part of a broader, more aggressive posture from the administration. The president has also ordered criminal probes into several past opponents. This includes investigations into former FBI Director James Comey and former CIA Director John Brennan for their roles in the 2016 Russia investigation. This comes as the Department of Justice is now officially opening a grand jury investigation into the origins of that very probe. Attorney General Pam Bondi has directed a federal prosecutor to begin presenting evidence to a grand jury, acting on a criminal referral from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. The referral alleges a conspiracy to falsely tie President Trump to Russia during the 2016 election. This move follows Gabbard's declassification of intelligence in July, which she claimed shows that former President Obama and his intelligence officials promoted a contrived narrative. According to the declassified materials, an intelligence assessment from December 2016 stressed that Russia's actions were intended to sow distrust in the democratic process, but did not affect the outcome of the election. It remains unclear who specifically is under investigation or what charges could be pursued, especially given that statutes of limitations may have expired for much of the activity from nearly a decade ago. This new probe follows the multi-year investigation by special counsel John Durham during Trump's first term, which looked into the same issues but resulted in no charges against high-level officials like Brennan or Comey. Beyond these high-profile investigations, the Department of Justice is also enacting significant policy changes that could reshape the federal government itself. The DOJ announced yesterday that it is ending a 44-year-old legal decree that has influenced race-based hiring practices across the entire federal government. The policy originated from a 1979 lawsuit, Luevano vs. Ezell, in which minority job applicants alleged discrimination in the federal government's professional and administrative career examination. The resulting consent decree, which came into effect in 1981, led to the implementation of hiring practices related to what is now known as diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. In its court filing to eliminate the decree, The Justice Department's Civil Rights Division argued that the decades-old ruling had limited the hiring practices of the federal government based on flawed and outdated theories of diversity, equity, and inclusion. The department further stated that the decree had imposed draconian test review and implementation procedures on the Office of Personnel Management, which oversees the federal civil service. This move represents a fundamental shift away from affirmative action-style policies in federal employment, and its long-term effects on the composition and hiring processes of the federal workforce will unfold in the months and years to come. And looking ahead, another branch of government is preparing to weigh in on a case with profound implications for race and political power in America. The Supreme Court has announced it will consider the use of race in drawing Louisiana's congressional election map. The justices have ordered attorneys to prepare arguments specifically on whether the creation of a second black majority district in the state is constitutional. The case puts two legal principles in direct tension. On one hand, the Voting Rights Act is designed to prevent the dilution of minority voting power. On the other, the Constitution has been interpreted to forbid the use of race as the predominant factor in drawing district lines, a practice known as racial gerrymandering. The court previously heard the case in March, but decided in June that another hearing was needed with this new focus. The outcome could have a nationwide impact, potentially forcing lawmakers across the country to scale back the use of race in the complex and politically charged redistricting process. The ruling will also have immediate consequences for the balance of power in Congress. Republicans currently hold a thin majority in the House of Representatives, and the disputed congressional seat in Louisiana is currently